The war in the Central African Republic, which began in 2012 and continues to this day, has unleashed a wave of violence, instability, and humanitarian suffering in one of Africa's most fragile nations. Driven by political and religious divisions, ethnic tensions, and competition for resources, this protracted conflict has had dire consequences for the CAR's population. This article provides an overview of the origins, key events, and the ongoing challenges posed by the war in the Central African Republic. Background and root causes. The CAR has a history of political instability, weak governance, and socio-economic challenges. The conflict can be traced back to 2012 when a predominantly Muslim rebel coalition known as the Seleka, dissatisfied with the government's marginalization of Muslim communities, launched a coup against President François Bozize. This triggered a violent backlash from anti-Balaka militias, composed primarily of Christian and animist communities, leading to a cycle of retaliatory attacks and escalating violence. Ethnic and religious dimensions. The conflict in the CAR has taken on significant ethnic and religious dimensions, exacerbating tensions and deepening divisions. The primarily Muslim Seleka coalition and predominantly Christian anti-Balaka militias have engaged in brutal clashes, targeting each other's communities and committing widespread atrocities against civilians. This sectarian violence has displaced hundreds of thousands of people and fueled a dangerous cycle of revenge and reprisals. Humanitarian crisis and displacement. The war in the CAR has resulted in a severe humanitarian crisis, with devastating consequences for the civilian population. Ongoing violence and insecurity have forced hundreds of thousands of people to flee their homes, seeking refuge both within the country and in neighboring countries. Displaced persons face dire conditions, lacking access to basic necessities such as food, clean water, healthcare, and education. The war has also disrupted livelihoods, hindering economic development and exacerbating poverty. International interventions and peacekeeping efforts. The international community, including the United Nations, African Union, and regional partners, has made efforts to address the conflict and promote peace in the CAR. An peacekeeping mission, known as MINUSCA, was deployed to protect civilians, support the political transition, and foster reconciliation. However, challenges persist, including limited resources, the complexity of the conflict, and the presence of armed groups operating outside of state control. Transitional government and quest for stability. The CAR has undergone a series of political transitions in an attempt to restore stability. A transitional government was established in 2013, followed by elections in 2016 and 2021. However, the road to lasting peace and stability remains arduous. Armed groups continue to wield influence, control territory, and engage in criminal activities such as smuggling and extortion, hindering the government's efforts to consolidate authority. Natural resource exploitation and external influences. The CAR's rich natural resources, including diamonds, gold, and uranium, have contributed to the conflict by attracting armed groups seeking to exploit these resources for their own gain. The illicit trade in natural resources has fueled violence, financed armed groups, and perpetuated instability. External actors, including neighboring countries and regional powers, have also played a role by supporting different factions, complicating efforts to achieve a peaceful resolution. Challenges in the way forward. The war in the Central African Republic remains a complex and multifaceted conflict with no quick or easy solutions. Addressing the root causes of the conflict, promoting national reconciliation, and ensuring accountability for human rights violations are crucial steps towards sustainable peace. Additionally, efforts to disarm and demobilize armed groups, strengthen state institutions, and foster economic development are essential to create a foundation for stability and prosperity in the CAR.